We are.
You're getting blasted by smoke,
Dude,
right?
it's surprisingly not affecting me. Maybe
Are you sure?
Not yet.
All right. As soon as it starts affecting you, we'll stop mid-podcast if you need to.
No, I just gotta lean back. I'll be fine. We just gotta put another log on the fire.
No. That'll make it worse.
It won't make it worse.
No,
Because
it's going to the right of you.
It won't be so smoldering.
Lean this way.
No.
Okay. All right.
Put more wood on the fire.
No. All right. Hold on.
Put one
Pause,
more
please.
log. We need. It's podcast by fire.
A fat one.
Oh my god.
I'd
Am I gonna die?
block you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There we
Okay.
go.
And these are the things we deal with. Low and slow. Open it up. Take a drink with me. Cheers. The first inauguration.
Inauguration.
Yep. One of those. All right.
All right.
Welcome to the very first episode of
The
very fucking first episode of Podcast by Fire. This is something that me and my buddy have had in the works for a long time. And it's an intimidating climate to try and inject yourself into, because there is a lot of podcasts out there.
A lot.
But at a certain point, we were just fuck it. We think we have a certain quality of banter. We feel like we have a certain quality of stories.
Yes.
And just a certain quality of ourselves that we feel like may appeal to some people.
Most people. I'm a puppy dog. He's kind of more serious and can reel me in.
Right.
I fuck shit up a lot.
No. So and that's the other thing is we've got an interesting dynamic. I'll introduce ourselves right now. My name is Tanner. This is my host Kyler.
Kyler with a K.
Kyler with a K. And the more him and I spent time together, the more I realized we have the dynamic that a lot of the podcasts that I listen to have. So, for example, if you are into comedy podcasts, I'm sure you've heard of Tiger Belly. I'm sure you've heard of Bad Friends. I'm sure you've heard of, the one with Theo Vaughn and Brendan and Schwab.
All of the podcasts.
But he is your innocent, unassuming, less articulate co-host. And I am your Andrew Santino. He is your Bobby Lee.
I'm a Labrador, a golden retriever. That's kind of my vibe that I give off.
Silly but lovable.
Yep.
Silly but lovable.
Sometimes falls on his face, but it's cute.
It's cute. And that's all we're trying to do here.
It's more human.
Is capitalize on a dynamic between two friends that we think is likable. So, without derailing too much, I'm going to say one more time the name of the podcast, Podcast by Fire.
Podcast by Fire.
Podcast by Fire, which we were stoked that hasn't been taken. And there is a couple levels to it. It is ironic in a certain sense, and it's a bit of an analogy, I guess you would say.
An algae.
An algae, yes.
An algae.
And it works on two levels. You want to start?
Start on what?
Well,
trial by fire, one, because this is all kind of a trial. We've got a lot of factors to deal with here. We've got the weather, the smoke, the bugs, which are killer, and he earlier sprayed himself with bug fog all over his skin, which apparently is not supposed to be on his skin, so he might
get cancer.
Cancer turn into a mosquito.
Yeah.
And then stories by fire, because really the meaning of this whole podcast is to try and tell stories by fire, just like if you're at your friend's house, your friend's fire,
summer camp, whatever,
at your friend's house, then you got punched in the face and you got I don't know.
Sure. Well, it's primal.
It's primal.
I think that's what my friend was getting. It's a very primal thing to sit by a fire.
Get away from the phones.
And recite your stories to each other. And that's kind of the platform of which we are going to continue on, hopefully, is that, him and I will tell our stories.
And have guests.
And eventually have guests. But this first episode, do you feel like it's appropriate to tell stories just you and I, our past history, so that the audience kind of understands us as people?
Yeah, just to get a sense of who we are.
You're getting blasted by smoke,
Dude,
right?
it's surprisingly not affecting me. Maybe
Are you sure?
Not yet.
All right, as soon as it starts affecting you, we'll stop mid podcast if you need to.
No, I just gotta lean back. I'll be fine. We just gotta put another log on the fire.
No, that'll make it worse.
It won't make it worse.
No,
Because it won't
it's
be
going
so
to the right of
smoldery.
you.
It won't be so smoldering.
Lean this way.
No.
Okay, all right.
Put more wood on the fire.
No, all right, hold on.
Put one
Pause,
more
please.
log. We need it's podcast by fire.
A fat one?
Oh my god.
I'd
Am I gonna die?
block you.
Oh yeah. There we go.
And these are the things we deal with. So
sorry for the interruptions if there's pauses or anything.
yeah, but this is kind of the nature of things. Is, you know, we are trying to do something different. We're trying to do something unique,
Everyone knows that.
and this is the cost of our innovation.
Yep. So
Lean back if you need to, because I don't see any.
no, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm good. Surprisingly, maybe I'm just immune
All right,
because
and
I got the vaccine recently. I got the first shot,
Right.
which
How did it make you feel?
It made me feel just fine. I didn't even really have a sore shoulder. I didn't have a sore throat. I didn't have a sore
Well,
a
first of all,
sore shoulder.
Yeah.
Wow, that is hard to say.
It can be. It's kind of a tongue
If
twister.
a sore shoulder.
Imagine all the people that got COVID shots and had to say sore throat.
Yeah, see, I'm not
If
the
you've
only
had any
one.
amount of anything to drink, it's hard to
God.
say. Sore
Sore
shoulder. Okay, there we go. We did it.
Why don't I just say sore arm?
Yeah, sore arm.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't even have that. So the second shot's supposed to be worse. We'll see how that goes. Typhoid knocked me on my ass, but that's a different story.
We're gonna get into it. Can we talk about typhoid?
Oh, typhoid, yeah. So I took
Not now.
No. What?
We'll get into it. Progression.
Later?
You getting blasted by the smoke?
No, it's okay.
You sure?
Go away!
Yeah. I got lucky.
I know. Maybe we should put that fucking blocker over on that side. Just amp up the fire because that'll create less smoke, man.
No. I think it's gonna do the exact opposite.
No,
Hold,
it won't
please.
because trust me. Trust me. Because it'll go up and over. God damn.
We're gonna push it as far over in my direction as possible. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, God.
Sit back in your seat. There.
Oh, there
Is
we
that
go.
not so much better?
Man, I'm just crying. I had a rough day. Are we getting into
Let's
things,
get
or
into
can
it.
we-
Yeah. Talk about
So,
So here's the thing. Him and I spent the last 2.5 hours setting up, and we purposefully tried not to talk about our kind of day-to-day because we are in a habit of trying to save our stories for this podcast.
yep. So, anyway,
And
start.
he basically primed me saying that, like, hey, I've got one for you. I'm going to save it for later. And I feel like that's kind of what he wants to jump into now.
Yeah, that's what I want to jump into. So, usually I'm a little bit more intense, but I do take sleeping pills. I have 2 different kinds, and I usually was taking this one, which is pretty tame. It's called, should I name the type?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, Seroquel.
Yeah, we can say all the brand names.
Okay.
I frankly want Boochcraft. Sponsor us.
Sponsor us, yeah.
Sponsor us. Bug spray. If there's any
Seroquel,
bug spray
sponsor us.
companies out there,
Yeah,
sponsor us.
Cool
Nope.
lights.
No.
All right.
Dangerous.
Danger.
But yeah,
So-
we want all the sponsors. We just frankly don't deserve them yet. But
Yeah.
keep going.
Anyway, so last night I got I take Seroquel, which is pretty tame. It just makes you sleepy, really sleepy, and that's really all it does. It's a pretty tame drug, and I've been on that for a while. And I switched last night to Ambien, which is really intense, and it's like it just knocks you the fuck out. Like you will be laying in bed and you'll close your eyes, and suddenly it'll be like 6 in the morning, and it's just like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll be dreamless. So anyway, last night.
That's the one you gave me.
Yeah, I gave you a half.
Yeah,
I found him, and I thought he was dead.
Yeah, we had spent a weekend.
I didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
He obtained it somehow not through me.
Right. I found it.
Yeah, he found it on the ground.
I found it on the ground somewhere, and I took a half. There was exactly half a pill on the ground somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't give it to him.
I took it, and I passed the fuck out within 10 minutes of taking it.
Yeah.
Done. Like, the best sleep I've ever had.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So anyway, I have bad sleeping problems. So anyway, I've been taking Seroquel for quite some time now, and then last night I got Ambien, and I was like, oh, I want to have Ambien because Seroquel does other things I don't like. Anyway,
Sure.
I took it, and it makes you feel really wonky and really heavy, and apparently during my sleep I started calling Zoss a fucking boat, my girlfriend, and I was like, oh, you're a boat, there's a boat, and started waving my hands up.
Oh, no.
I've never walked on this pill or anything at all, and I'm pretty sure I did last night because I went to sleep in just underwear, and I woke up with all of the blankets completely naked in bed with 4 water bottles next to my on my nightstand that were not there. And I was like, where did I sleepwalk, and what did I do, and why did I do that? And I also got a Pepto-Bismol bottle and half opened it and then put it back. And I think it's just because I haven't taken it in so long.
Sure.
That I did that, but now I'm gonna have to. I've got a little trigger for my camera that will trigger when it senses movement. So tonight when I go to bed, I'm gonna set that up and see if I'm sleepwalking or not. But I've never ever had anything like that happen.
Sleepwalking is fascinating.
It is. It's a little terrifying. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Fascinating for an audience. Terrifying for the person that's having to go through it.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I didn't do anything bad.
Which leads me to a point that I wanted to ask you. Have you seen the TikTok video of the woman who sleepwalks and basically has these recordings set up through the security cameras in her house?
Yes, I've seen that. I'm big into TikTok, by the way.
She is...
That's terrifying.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
She's walking around her house.
Maybe we can find a clip, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. See the clip here? Hopefully. Here, yeah, Em and I. Point together here, in the middle. No, up. Here. Anyway, we're trying to get to that level of budget, but basically, she rummages.
Yeah, rummages about kind of screens and stuff.
Yeah, she rummages. I don't know if that's a real word. I'm just gonna run with it. She goes through her fridge and she'll pull out all the fucking drinks from her fridge and she'll throw them in the yard and she'll do things like wander across the fucking neighborhood and basically take all of her clothes off and show up naked the next day. And sleepwalking is fascinating.
Dude, there's people that have to put their keys in the timer safe because otherwise they'll drive away. That's what my dog just said. But anyway,
I just burped and it was
gonna throw up, half burp.
I felt it was basically it started as a burp and by the end of it I was like, oh, I'm gonna puke.
Oh, if you puke, that's okay. Just puke camera right or something.
This way?
I don't know, just not on to the chair.
Anyway, if you want to. All right, so basically, this is supposed to be a podcast about stories, right? And it just to give you
your stories are stories, people stories, guest stories, Reddit stories, just stories by the fire.
Real fucking stories, and that's kind of the point we're trying to make. Is a lot of the podcasts that him and I have watched is yes, they're comedy podcasts, yes, they're done by comedians, but there's a certain disconnect from the Hollywood atmosphere to the kind of every man's life.
Yeah.
And really that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to have stories that connect to, everyday people. We're trying to have guests that connect to everyday people.
Yeah, and so you can send in your stories and we'll tell.
Right, exactly. We're hoping to get to a point where him and I are going to run out of fucking stories, probably 3 podcasts deep. So eventually we want people to submit stories, and we'll tell your stories, and we may elaborate here and there, but
And what's the email they can send them to?
they can send them to podcastbyfire@gmail.com.
All right.
That's going to be the source. If you want to send us your story, have us tell your story on a platform that hopefully, becomes big enough that, you show your friends, you can proudly show everyone, kind of flaunt your story, we'll be the people to tell it. And that is our hopes and goals. We'll have guests and shit too, but
Anyway.
Yeah.
So do you want to jump into
Let's jump into our stories.
our stories? Who's first?
You know what? You told me a story a long while ago, that I really liked.
What is that?
It had to do with the ghillie suit.
Oh, yes. And cops, I'm guessing?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah, my classic running away from the cops in the ghillie suits.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into too many cop stories because we have a special guest hopefully coming on soon. But
yeah, cop.
Yeah, a cop. But we're going to get into some of the stories that we feel represent us the best. And honestly, him and I lived pretty hard and pretty fast in the younger part of our lives.
Except for I've never done drugs.
Sure. Oh, something turned off.
Oh, please hold.
Oh! Almost fell into the fire. I wanted to start with the story about your ghillie suit.
Yes, the infamous ghillie suit from the cops story.
Yes, get into it.
So, when I was probably about 16 years old, I used to get bored and just do random shit across the town, whether it be break into schools or play drunk. What do you call that game where you have to go across a playground and have your eyes shut?
Bloody Mary.
No, that's not Bloody Mary.
Bloody
Anyway.
Mary, you go into a bathroom and you say Bloody Mary 3 times.
Well, yeah, everyone knows that. Anyway, back to the story. So, for Halloween one year, I decided to make a ghillie suit, and then that turned into my dad, who loved it, buying 3 or 4 ghillie suits, and so 4 of my friends just randomly put them on, and we started running around the town, and just fucking around, like knocking on doors and then running into the bushes and that kind of shit. And actually, at one point, there was a pit bull, or it might have not been a pit bull. It's just a dog, but I walked past it. I had no idea who I was or what I was, and it almost bit me. So I had to jump into another bush. And
a bush
terrified
jump
me.
is basically a bush jumping into a bush.
Jumping into a bush. Anyway, so we ended
Nice.
up at our high school, Fairview High School in Boulder.
Well, that's quite the transition.
Well, I mean, it just goes from there to there, man. That's how I'm telling the story. So
you went from getting attacked by a pit bull.
yeah, well, I
jumping
got
into
attacked
a bush.
by it, and then it wandered off, and then we kept going.
Okay.
So there were 3 of us in these ghillie suits, which, if you've never seen a ghillie suit, is what snipers wear to hide from
To kill
the
people.
foe.
No, to
Yeah,
kill
to kill
people.
people. You look
Yeah.
like a bush.
Yeah.
Look it
yeah.
up.
It's basically what snipers wear to kill people.
Yeah.
Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were up in a parking lot, like 3 bushes in a parking lot at my old high school, and the cop came by. And personally, I was like, oh, okay, we'll just talk to the cops and be like, we're fucking around in these ghillie suits. We're not hurting anyone. We don't have any drugs on us. We're not high or drunk or anything. So I was like just standing there, and 3 of my friends were like, no, fuck this. So they ran down this hill that was right next to the parking lot, and then I had to, of course, follow them.
I would have loved to see
And
that.
just 3 bushes,
Bushes
just like in the cop car, being like, what the fuck?
Are those bushes? Do they just uproot
Why
and roll down
me?
a hill?
Yeah, so we ran down the hill, and then we all hugged one tiny bush. So there were just 3 dudes in a ghillie suit, hugging this tiny little bush, just waiting for the cops to like just go. They actually shined all of their lights, their like big head beam lights, and then they actually started walking down the hill with their flashlights trying to find us. And they got at one point within like about 10 feet of us. And I'm surprised we didn't get caught, but the cops eventually gave up. Probably 30 minutes in, they gave up and just left. and we successfully ran from the cops in a ghillie suit. So if you need to run from the cops, man, don't wear a fucking baklava, wear a ghillie suit. That's the key.
So when you say you escaped, were they like shining beams on you?
Yeah, they were shining beams on us, and they came up and they shined their flashlights
And you got
straight
away?
on us.
You got
into our
away
face.
because you were ghillie?
Yeah, we were gilling. We were all hiding. I mean,
All
it's
ghillied
hard
out?
to see. Yeah, 3 of us were just hugging the bush, man, and then
What?
we left.
Let that be. Hey, if we want, hey, any ghillie suit sponsors out there right
Yeah,
now?
Cabela's.
Yeah, please. Shoot. We're trying to get sponsored by everything. Tequila, hard kombucha, vape, whatever. Sponsor us, please.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that's kind of a introduction to my childhood.
I've got a pretty good story like that.
Oh yeah, what is it?
There was a time when I was younger where basically I found a very creative escape route from the cops.
How do you mean creative?
You want to get into it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll tell it. So basically, I was a young man, and when I say young man,
Young Tanner.
I'm talking about like 10 years ago at least, almost a decade ago. And if I remember right, someone had basically decided to throw a party at this really fancy girl's house. And that's all I remember. I remember there being like a piano.
So you're pretty drunk.
Yeah, I was pretty drunk.
Just to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. But more importantly, this was a really nice house. Like, that's the thing I remember, is that this was a fancy fucking house. And I remember her being on the piano, and she had no idea what the fuck she got into. Because it was like the first time she had thrown a party in high school. And she had a bunch of people over, and like, she didn't know what was gonna
Get rowdy.
rowdy as fuck.
I feel
So
like it's always the calm before the storm, right?
exactly, and it was calm and it was cool until all of a sudden, like, we're at this fucking mansion, and one of the nicest parts of Manhattan, Kansas, shout out,
In Kansas.
back home, and the people who know this story know it well. Basically what happened is we're all chilling there at this super fancy house in a super nice neighborhood, and like, bound to happen, the cops get called, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, always, every time. So basically they hit both ends of the house at the same time, like a Chinese finger trap. Literally just
It's double-ended.
a double ending the house, like it fucking got paid $50 to be there.
Got paid 50. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so the people in the house, all underage drinkers, supposedly, all these stories are fake, scattered like fish that had just experienced a fucking, like, you throw a bomb into a pond, like literally fish just like skirting
Like
towards,
an Aunt Matey in the pond, yeah.
yeah, like skirting towards the outsides of the fucking house. Like, literally everyone's just like pushing up against the windows and the fucking doors, like, what do we do? What do we do? Like,
Swim away!
yeah, swim away, like fucking sardines, man. And me and a buddy basically got pushed into it was like a pantry, like a food pantry. And we're sitting there and we're like looking around, and like there's like 20 other people in a food pantry. And I'm thinking, like, what the fuck do we do? Luckily, someone's like panicking, like trying to figure out what the fuck to do, and they pull up a window shade. And here I am amidst 20 other people in a fucking food pantry.
Like
and
sardines in a can.
like sardines, just shoulder to shoulder packed in, like, what do we do? What do we do? We're all gonna get arrested. And it's Manhattan, Kansas. We all would have gotten arrested. Everyone in that fucking house would have got some form of fucking penalty, basically.
Yeah.
And someone has the good sense to pull up the fucking window, and I see it, and my eyes light up like fucking...
Like Charlie just got his golden ticket.
Dude, like that window opening was the golden ticket. And I look over to my friend and I go, fuck this shit. And I run full speed. I'm pushing people aside, like all the fucking dumb high schoolers aside. and I fucking go full speed as fast as I can through that window, right? And like, could have opened it.
That's an afterthought.
Yeah, could have opened it, could have like taken out the screen, could have done all that shit. But basically go through full speed with my shoulder first, break through that shit, right?
Just showered in glass.
Shatters. And like the first thing I think it was like, oh, I cut myself. Like I'm dying.
I'm dying.
I'm dying. I'm sure of it. Like, and I look at my hands as I roll through this window, and I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And I get up and I start running, and I'm so happy, right? And then I look behind me, and out of fucking like a horror movie, out of like, what's the one with Brad Pitt?
What's in the box?
No, DayZ or fucking whatever it is, a zombie movie.
Oh yeah, whatever.
I look behind me in high schoolers as if they were some fucking like zombified creatures are climbing
flooding out
5 at a time, climbing out of this fucking shattered window like they're
finally get out from prison.
yeah, like literally, like, and then like it turns out that like half the people in that house got out through that window.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? The sad part though?
What is that?
I overdosed the next day in the hallway.
Oh no. On what?
On high fives.
On high fives. So sly.
So sly.
So sly.
So sly.
Well, I've got a story. It doesn't really have to do with running from the cops, but I definitely did get hurt in it.
Get into it. I love painful stories.
Yeah, the painful stories. I actually got cut. I got pretty bad. I'm a very avid drone pilot. I'm very good at it. And one day we're not going to mention the name. This time.
We'll give him a fake name.
Bike's Camera.
Bike's Camera.
Bike's Camera.
Yeah.
I worked at this place called Bike's Camera
in Boulder, Colorado.
2500 Pearl Street.
Do your research. You're pretty sure you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out real quick.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. So.
And that's how we met, first of all.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Anyway, we'll get into that later.
So, I brought my drone to work, and it was Expo week, so there was like a bunch of people coming in to the shop, and it was pretty full, and they would have like guest photographers coming in and teach like people who don't know how to take a picture of a cat how to take a picture of a cat.
Or anything.
Anyway, I wanted to get the fuck away from filing, because that was my job, is filing pictures. So I was like, I'm gonna go and fly my drone and get a cool little expo shot around the flags and stuff.
Promote the company.
Promote the company, yeah.
For.
Promote the company, get out, fly my drone. It was fun.
Sure, win-win.
Yeah, and I ended up flying like 2 flights, and it was all good. And then the final flight, I was coming back, and the drone I have can maneuver around things except for small twigs. So this fucking drone hit the smallest twig, and it flipped upside down and buried itself in the snow. And if you know drones at all, they have this battery where if it gets wet or anything like that, it's basically a grenade.
Imagine that.
Yeah. So I went up and I grabbed it, and I was trying to do this kill switch thing where you turn it upside down. It wasn't working. And then I tried to like turn it off by the button. It wasn't working. It was still just like full blast propellers.
Propellers are just going full speed?
Oh yeah, full speed.
All 4 of them?
All 4, which isn't supposed to happen. It's actually
Sounds
a
like a goddamn American gladiator.
It's like a guillotine, yeah.
Yeah.
And I caught my finger in it, and it actually chopped off the top of my finger. Yeah, chopped off the top of my finger, just mangled my my fingernail, and it actually chopped part of the bone off on my finger. So I walk back in, and I go to Ken, and I'm just like, I think I need to go somewhere. And then Wendell was like, oh my God, he needs to go to the ER. So
John Wendell?
John Wendell.
Han Flindle.
Han Flindle.
Yep. We'll beep it out post-production.
Yeah. So
good man,
I go to urgent care, and this dude keeps he put like numbing stuff into my finger so I could stitch it up. But he put numbing stuff in my finger and then left for 30 minutes, came back and started to try and stitch it up, and he had to pull a whole fingernail out. And I was like screeching in pain because like the Novocaine wore off. And I was like, dude, I need more Novocaine. And he was like, oh, you're being a bitch, basically. And I was trying to make light of it all. And I was like, hey, if I went to a manicure place, do you think they would give me half off for this finger? And that was the only joke that he thought was semi-funny and kind of laughed. But the guy was a fucking dick.
Very, very good.
I got 5 stitches and I had to take antibiotics for a week. And I had to wear this ridiculously big, like, dildo-looking thing on my finger.
I remember the dildo on your finger.
Yeah, I had to wear that for about a couple days. But then, the worst thing is I had all the attention at work, and everyone's like, oh my God, are you okay? A week fucking later, this girl named, we'll call her Leslie.
Leslie
she,
Snyder.
She was, if you don't know anything about canvases, there's the thing called a tensidor, which pinches the canvas so that you can stretch it.
It's like an industrial pincher.
Industrial pincher. And she actually got her finger caught in the pincher, cut off her finger completely.
Not even cut off.
No.
Imagine
like
having,
mine was held by a thread.
Imagine having your fucking nail in the bottom part of your finger
gone.
Pinched off.
Yeah.
Filleted.
Pinched off.
Filleted.
Not cut off.
Not cut off, but basically the skin and the nail just ripped off.
Yeah. So a week later, she cut off the tip of her finger.
Yep.
And it had to be put on ice and brought to the emergency.
ER.
Yeah, to the ER. And then she actually couldn't get it back, so then she had a plastic surgeon actually pull skin over her finger, and now she is missing the tip of her finger a week later after I cut off my finger from a drone. So if you own a drone, by the way, don't put your fucking fingers next to those blades. They will fuck you up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you, man. I don't have any cool drone stories because he's kind of the drone guy.
Yeah, I'm the drone guy.
He's kind of the drone guy. I do have cool injury stories.
Well, let's hear one. If you have any.
I think, well, I've got a few.
Well, name one.
The most entertaining one?
Yeah, I mean, whichever one you'd like.
All right, I got one. So there was a time that I've been in Colorado, and that's where we're located now, which is why you're not going to find any fancy fucking guests here. I've been located in Colorado for the last few years, and one of my buddies, one of my homies for life, back from my hometown in Kansas, decided to come out here and ski. And that's something like we had done for several years, right? He would come out here and he would like, you know, or we would go to New Mexico, or we would go to wherever and we'd ski together.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the, I have a lot of friends like this, like shout out Mitch, shout out Tom, shout out Rich, shout out James. The whitest names.
God damn it. Yeah, I can't.
I'm Tanner.
Jesus Christ.
Shout out the whitest names that ever existed. But
Oh
anyway,
my God.
his name was Mitch. He came out here, and I think we met up at like Keystone, right? Or like a nice resort. I can't.
Yeah.
I think it was Keystone. And I hadn't seen him for years, but he's one of those friends where like you see him, doesn't matter if it's been 10 years or 2 years. Like I picked up just like we left off.
Yeah.
So we're like on the ski lifts, we're chatting, and he's fucking, you know, sipping whiskey, and I'll sip some whiskey or whatever the fuck it was, and by the time we're bombing hills, we're both extremely fucked up. And it's a lot of fun. But basically what happened was him and I are going down, you know, and it was like middle of the week. He came out like premier time to go skiing. So it's just him and I, and we were bombing slopes, like as fast as you can go on a snowboard.
Yeah.
Like no turning. Like normally you curve to like, you know, like curve off some speed.
Yeah, you're just going straight forward.
As fast as you can. And I was barely in front of him, and he's right behind me. And I'm kind of like checking out the slopes, trying to decide which one we should go down. And me being to Keystone more than he has, I see a run that I'm like, oh, I love this run. So I like try and signal to him like, hey, let's go to this one. Let's go to this one.
Yeah.
And so I'm probably like 40 miles an hour, signaling to him, getting ready to curve off on this run. And like, I would just like to assume on my drunken kind of like state of being that like he's with me.
Yeah.
But as soon as I start signaling and start turning, I feel a board get caught between my legs. So basically what had happened is he had stuck the nose of his board between the tail of my board.
Oh shit.
Which
that's not gonna work out.
Right. It's the equivalent of like shooting a fucking beam between the spokes of a bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So him and I go into this like crazy fucking tumble. Crazy tumble. Like out of a movie. Like if I hadn't experienced it, I wouldn't know how to describe it. But it's basically like my hat gets ripped off, my goggles get ripped off.
This full yard sale.
Yard sale, dude. Yard sale. Everything that I had on me, my coat gets like ripped, like the buttons get like, or the zipper gets like ripped, and everything is fucked up. And I like, as soon as I get up, I want to blame him, right? Because I'm like, dude, I signaled you, like what the fuck is your problem? So I get up and I look to him, and he like is at the same time probably thinking the same thing I am. And he goes like a fucking fallen soldier, like a fucking
Oh my god.
yeah, like
just a screech.
just what did you do? And I'm like, I'm sorry, like of course, like that's me. I'm like, I'm apologetic. Oh, I'm sorry, like dude, I didn't know what was going on. And like as I'm talking to my friend, and like you fucking idiot, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. As I'm talking, I'm like, I feel a cold drip like coming down from my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is like, like it's probably snow, whatever. But as I talk more and more with my friend, I kind of like feel like this drip come over my face and my eye, and you probably can't see it now, but basically he had cut my forehead to my eye.
Oh god.
A solid like
with the snowboard.
With the edge of the snowboard.
Oh god.
A solid 3 or 4 inches, to the point where like I was just like dripping blood and had to get stitches the next day and all that shit. And it's a cool kind of like memory that I have. Every time I look in the mirror, I see this like cut on my forehead, but at the same time,
yeah,
painful as fuck.
That sounds rough, man. I've had some rough yard sales too, but I don't really snowboard anymore. I wrecked my ankle skateboarding, but
Smart
that's
man.
a different day.
Smart man.
Well, I mean, to shift gears here, one story that I remember that's probably my most memorable is I went to Africa, to Tanzania, and I got to meet all these tribes, and I got to meet the Bushmen, which, if you don't know, they speak in clicks. So
I didn't want to be racist, but like that's what I was hoping you would say.
That's exactly. They speak in clicks.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
That's like
I don't
truly
know
they
a
speak
lot
in
about
clicks.
African tribes or whatever, but
Me
as soon as you said Tanzania, I was like, please tell me a clicking story.
Yeah. So to offer to like get into their tribe, we had to give them a whole shit ton of tobacco because that was like what they wanted.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So I went there, and this was back when I was like probably 15 or 16. And I was in this skater emo phase where I was wearing literally women's size zero pants. Like I was wearing girls' jeans.
Sexy, dude.
I know. My stick legs too.
Was it uncomfortable?
Oh, it was not uncomfortable. It was great. They hug your balls like a nothing else. It's great. It's like someone always cradling them.
I can't imagine.
I actually had a lot of people ask me how I got into the pants. I literally have been at movie theaters and I went to the bathroom and the dude was like, "Excuse me, I don't want to be rude, but how do you get into those pants?" And it's like, yeah, they're half spandex, so that's how you get into the pants. Yeah. And I don't have an ass, so anyway, back to the story. I'm out there. I've got these skater jeans on, these big fat DC skater shoes, and I've got a hoodie on. In the middle of Africa in summer, I'm wearing a hoodie with the hood up because I was just kind of like this, like fuck the world kid. And the Bushmen they were pretty rude the whole entire time, and they were shooting a bow and arrow, like a homemade Bushman bow and arrow, at this log.
To be fair, if I was a Bushman, I'd probably judge you a little bit.
Oh yeah, they judge me hard.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I would judge myself. I still judge myself.
They run around with like
what the fuck was I doing?
They run around with like canvas sacks, barely draping over their balls.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Tits out.
Yeah, exactly. And you're over here with fucking tight denim.
Sitting in the corner, like, I don't want to meet you.
Yeah. I judge you. I still judge you. I mean, those pants are still a little tight.
Yeah, they are. I have skinny legs though. But
yeah. You work with what you have.
Yeah, I do my best.
Sure.
So I was out there and seeing him try and shoot this log from quite a distance. Is probably 50 feet away.
Shoot it with what?
Like a rudimentary, like, homemade bow and arrow from the Bushmen with like sticks as fucking arrows. Like, it was straight up
a traditional bow.
Like traditional. And little did they know, I've actually shot a lot of bows and I'm really good with a slingshot. Amazingly good. And amazingly good, dude. My dad knows the guy.
I'm good with a slingshot,
I'm good with a slingshot and a bow.
Yep, they put it on the resume.
Yeah, I do. And so they gave me the bow thinking, oh, this fucking cracker is gonna fuck this up.
Yeah.
And so I was in the middle of this Bushman story. So to recap, I was at a Bushman tribe, and anyway,
I was in Africa.
So they were shooting this log from quite a distance, probably like 25 feet to 35 feet. I think I said 50 earlier, but
yeah, well, 60.
It was 60, 2,000 feet, and it was a very rudimentary bow and arrow, and they gave the bow and arrow to me because I was sitting right next to them, and they're like, oh yeah, let's see this fucking white guy just totally botch this and just hit the ground. So I pull back the string, and I have pictures of all of this, but I pull back the string and I'm like, oh please God, just hit the log, and I hit it dead on, first try, and all of the Bushmen were like, and they all, for them, like, congratulations.
Are we gonna get canceled?
Probably. They're not Indians, but they were very excited, and what they do.
Realistically, tell me, because I'm just guessing. What was the noise they made?
They go like.
They were clicking?
Yeah, but then.
Out of excitement?
No, mostly what they did is shake my hand, because that's how they know, not like high fives or anything, they shake your hand. So every single one of them came up to me and was shaking my hand, like shaking my hand. And I was like, yeah, that's right, bitch. Like.
Because they know that's the Western way.
Yeah, that's the Western way, but I hit it first try. This skater emo kid in the middle of Africa wearing a hoodie with the hood up, they gave the bow to me and I hit it first fucking try.
They were probably ready to laugh at you.
Oh, I know. They were ready to just be like, look at this dumb bitch. But I hit it first try and it was incredible. And it was such a rudimentary bow too. It like didn't have any it didn't have a nock, it didn't have any places to like hold the arrow. You had to hold the arrow like that. It was literally just sticks and then another stick shooting out of it. And I hit it first try, and that was like probably the highlight of my life of just being like. And then after that, they respected me, and they finally weren't dicks. Because the Bushman tribes, when visitors come, they're kind of assholes.
I'm sure.
Because they just don't want to be left alone,
like,
and then you got to give them their tobacco. And
like
usually they ask for weed, but the guy told us, he's like, I didn't give him weed, but he totally did.
Oh, like ganja?
Yeah, like the ganja, like the 420, like the pot, like the sticky icky, like the devil's lettuce.
Like Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, he's like, I just gave him tobacco, and I was like, nah, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
We know that.
Sweet. Well, yeah, that's a pretty good fucking story, man. That is a pretty fucking good story, I will admit. I'm trying to think if I have anything that decent. Alright, we've got 15 minutes to do another segment, and we're trying to just jam as much in as possible because we want this first episode to be pretty epic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got nothing else to do on
we had prepared a segment, right?
Yes.
And we want to have segments in the future. Because this is, podcast by fire, play on words, stories by the fire. The overarching theme here is hopefully going to be like stories. You know, we're going to have cool stories to tell. Our guests are going to have like cool stories to tell. But more importantly, we're going to have segments that revolve around storytelling. So, on that note, let's jump into our first segment ever. Tall Tales.
Tall Tales.
Tall Tales.
And what is Tall Tales?
Tall Tales is basically shout out to Bobby Lee, Andrew Santino, and everyone else who has done something similar.
Okay.
Because I'm clearly being derivative here. We are clearly being derivative here. But Kyler and I are going to try and riff a movie plot off of each other.
Basically, make a on-the-spot movie. Yeah.
Make a movie on the spot. Tell a story of a movie on the spot. So let me ask you, my friend, what type of movie do you want to tell?
Kind of like maybe like a horror comedy.
Horror.
I think that's a good one to start with.
Like Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, maybe Shaun of the Dead, yeah. Kind of like Shaun of the Dead, but maybe a little bit more scary.
So no zombies?
I don't know. What should we start with?
I don't know.
Where's this plot? I think we should start in Russia.
You were talking about Saw earlier.
Saw.
Yeah, well, you and your ex were watching Saw.
Yes.
I'm very much into those movies, those horror movies, or if not Saw, like Hostel movies, where like a couple people go overseas and then they like, you know.
Okay, so why don't we like it's like you and me. We just got out of we're taking a gap year in college.
I like this.
Okay,
yeah, go for it.
So we're taking a gap year in college, and we're like fuck our parents, and we tell them we're going to like Germany and like France and to see the. Like,
we don't tell them anything. We tell them
we're going camping.
Yeah, we tell them we're at university, but you and I go overseas.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. We just decide one day we're like, you know what? Fuck it.
And that way our family and our close relatives don't know where we are.
Yeah.
That's part of the story.
Yeah. They think we're just in college.
That way we have no accountability and they can't find us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
keep going.
Kitty cat. So we decide to go overseas, and we end up going to like Germany and Amsterdam, doing like the typical things and stuff. And let's say in Amsterdam we get this one drug called like XMP.
XMP.
And we're saving it for the perfect day. It's called XMP.
It's like a secret drug?
It's like a secret drug. All they tell us is you'll have a magical time.
Oh, I like this. So where are we when we get it?
We get it in Amsterdam, but
no, are we like at a coffee shop?
Yeah, at a coffee shop, and it's kind of like this sketchy guy, like the dishwasher from the back, kind of comes up all shaking.
I was hoping like a sexy girl, but
no, it's like this weird guy that's like.
Okay, I don't know if I would take it.
Breathing kind of weird, and he's
sure.
Like, you want to have a good time?
I'd be like, no.
And I'm like, but this point we're like in the mode of like nothing can kill us. We're kids.
Sure,
like,
we've done all the drugs.
We've done all of it. We've done DMT, all this stuff. And he's like, you ever tried XMP? And we're like, yeah, I've seen Limitless before. Is it like that? And he's like, yeah, sure, it's like Limitless.
It's just, you want to be Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, and I was like, fuck yeah, I want to be Bradley Cooper.
Fuck yeah, we're both like, yeah, we want to be Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, and this is in Amsterdam, in like
sure.
in like the back of like a smoke shop or a bakery.
Alright, so you and I are aware when we decide to take this XMP.
So we save it for a good day.
Oh, okay.
Or like a boring day. So then we take this, and then we decide to like maybe take a train just to know, or we just are like,
right.
We just say one ticket, please.
Right. You and I are discovering the different parts of the European countryside, and we're like, let's save this. What is it? XMP.
XMP.
What is it? Like a tab or a pill?
Yeah, it's a pill.
It's a pill. So we like, all right, let's save it. Let's save it. And so we go out into the middle of nowhere, right? We go out into the middle of the
but
fucking...
we take a train to the middle.
Yeah, exactly. We take a train.
We take the first train. We're like one train to the first train that's next. And we don't even know where it's going.
It's like 3 trains, right? It's like a train to a train with a taxi cab, and like we don't even know where we are anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
We're fucking like, European countryside. We drop the XMP.
But we're like in like Soviet Russia by the time.
Oh, we don't even know.
We don't know where we went. We just took a train.
I like this.
Yeah.
All right. So we take the XMP. What happens?
So we go.
We're thinking like we're in a domestic part of the European countryside.
But we're in Soviet Russia.
When we wake up.
Okay. All right.
So we take it. We take it. And we think we're in like France or Italy, whatever, fun shit. We take it, and what happens? What's the experience?
It first makes you feel like super wobbly and kind of like laughy and like funny and stuff like that.
Right. We piss our pants.
Yeah, you lose all bowel control, so we pee our pants
We dump
first.
out.
But it's all fine because
It's
we're on
all
XMP, and it's kind of like Molly. You're just like grooving out, and then we're like going and touching random people and just being like, dude, I love you, with our pants just completely soaked.
You know that scene from Moana?
And we whisper things into people's ears just like, the eggs have hatched. Yeah. The eggs have hatched and you need to go now.
Right.
We need to find them.
Right.
And then just like look at them and then just be like,
yeah.
But then suddenly
we go from this euphoric state, right? We think we're all having fun.
Yeah.
We wake up in like
Eastern
Europe. You and I wake up in like literally like the cold steel of like a railroad tie against my face. I wake up and I'm like, what?
Yeah, we just drop.
I'm like, what the
pants soaked.
Yeah, I'm like, what the
pooped him too.
Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, and I look down and I just see I shit and piss.
No pants at all.
Yeah, no pants at all. I shit all over this railroad that goes on for 1,000 miles. And I look over at you and you're laying face down on the other railroad tie, and I'm like, Kyler, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
The first thing I do is just cackle. I just,
you snap out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just suddenly like you're looking around like this morning, like how I was like kind of drugged up this morning when after my Ambien, I took it. I felt seriously, I was like, whoa, what's going on? So it's kind of like a date rape drug a bit.
But we got date rape basically.
It's basically like, yeah, kind of like crocodile. So
what's the story from there though?
Oh no, so the railroad actually got rid of that car. So that car that we're on is just sitting in the middle of nowhere in Russia.
No.
Oh, okay. X that.
No. What I think is that you and I basically, you and I got date raped.
Oh, yes.
You and
By some French guy.
Literally, yeah, got date raped somewhere in Europe, Western Europe. And he like puts us on a train, like, you know, like throws us into a cargo car with a bunch of other like date raped Americans.
Yeah, okay.
Like 1,000 dudes that look like you and I.
Just like, did you take the XMP?
Take the XMP. And we wake up.
We need another log.
We wake up in Western Europe, and then literally the moral of like the point of the story from then on is like, how do we get back home?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
okay.
It's literally like we have to talk to some guy named Ivan. Oh. Pause.
He got a little too excited with his mic and unplugged it and put it in fire.
No, it was because it was.
I just bought that cord today.
It was because of the.
Dude, you gotta get the cord away from the fire. Just put a log in the fire. How hard is it to put the log in a fire?
He's being sarcastic and sardonic, which he doesn't even know what that word means.
I don't understand sarcasm. So we're in a train. So where are we? So we're in a train car with a bunch of other Americans that got date raped.
A lot like us, like like thousands, like packed up against the walls of of the train car.
All dudes.
Oh, they just look just like us.
Yeah, exactly, like doppelgangers.
Yeah, like literally.
I think one of them's my twin. Maybe one of them is my twin.
Oh, the magic. So our story. That was like literally the first act, and without making this podcast go on for 3 hours, I would just like to assume that the rest, the second act and the third act, is you and I.
Do you have tequila?
No, I didn't bring any.
That's okay. I've got shots somewhere.
Is you and I fighting against the Eastern European.
What?
The Eastern Europeans. And we're like, we just want to go home. And they're like, no, you suck dick now.
What the fuck?
We're in Eastern Europe. We just showed up on train tracks in a cart full of sex slaves. Of course, I'm gonna be like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Like, no, you suck dick now.
And we just like fight and do everything in our will not to be like, I'm sorry, I'm lactose intolerant.
Right? Yeah. I can't.
We just sit in the corner and then we have to like plot. How are we gonna get out? So we just leave.
We just leave.
But
Bye.
what happened? Yeah. But what? I think we're in a plot hole now.
Well, no, I can figure it out. The question is, do they want to hear another hour of this plot? Because like we just went into Act 1. Do we get into it now?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Pretty soon here, one of these cameras are gonna flip off, if not both.
So in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was thinking, right, is we get to Eastern Europe. We wake up. We're super fucking confused, and we're outside of like a fucking public housing block, right? And you and I are like waking up naked.
Just every day waking up naked.
Every day, like, yeah, we can't figure out what the fuck. We're on the
We're just constantly
We're on
being
XMP.
XMP.
Yeah.
We're constantly just
We're-
being snuck XMP.
Yeah,
Someone just like shoots it slyly and
Yeah.
you're like, ah!
Or like even the first time we take XMP, it makes you black out every night.
Every night, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's a continuous.
Yeah,
go.
that's the thing about XMP. So him and I constantly are trying to find our way home, but every night we wake up and we've been XMP'd and like our butts are sore.
But we're getting used to it.
We're getting used to it. Yeah, we're like, it's basically Taken. It's basically the plot of Taken, but we are the sex slaves.
So how do we figure out how to get out? So let's say we get out finally at some random broken downtown that looks like Chernobyl.
Sure. I like to think, here's what I like to think, is like you or I are clever enough that we put like something
In our butts so that when they rape us, they get
Yes!
destroyed. So slowly we kill them off because we find
exactly.
we find a can.
Like a cheese grater even.
Yeah, we find a can and then we like shred it and then put it
in our butts. Every time they fuck us.
Every time they fuck us, it gets stuck and then it kills them.
Yeah, they bleed out.
But they're on XM. The other people are on XM.
They pass out.
So
they don't realize
they
it.
don't. They're just like, oh, they're just passed out.
We're leaving. Yeah, we're leaving.
So we're slowly killing off each person.
Yep.
Until we have a whole entire just body bag pile of like
wake
twins
of bodies for sure
that look just like us.
And then I think Liam Neeson swoops us up and takes us back to America. I think that's Hollywood would buy that movie.
He's like, XMP, it's my worst enemy.
I will find you.
I have a certain set of skills.
I have a very specific set of skills. I will find you. Is that not a good movie?
That's a great movie.
Yeah. It's just a very...
It's a cult classic.
It's way more graphic and asexual.
But I never sucked anyone's dick.
Yeah, no, never.
They always put the head down, but when you do that, you just headbutt them.
Yeah, X&P, hell of a drug.
Hell of a drug.
Hell of a
kind
drug.
of like crocodile.
Yeah, it's basically like a crocodile and cocaine mixed together.
And Molly.
And Molly. X&P.
And GHB.
Yeah, sponsor us.
A little ketamine. I've been sedated once. That shit was crazy.
Get into it now? Save it for another podcast.
Yeah.
All right. We're almost 2 hours deep. Kyler, let's sign off.
Yep. I'm Kyler.
That's Kyler. He is my best bud. My name.
Half Labrador, half Golden Retriever.
I'm more of like a German Shepherd / Australian cattle dog.
Yes.
It's fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
It's fair. Anyway, this is Podcast by Fire.
Podcast by Fire.
Hopefully you guys support us enough that we can keep doing this, because I can tell you this much. This wasn't easy. The lights, the 3
lights,
cameras,
we have to figure out the lighting,
the bug spray, the citronella,
the coyotes,
the fucking wind blocks, the coyotes,
the smoke in the face, and then we have to sit in the same spot.
It was rough. So please do all the shit. I don't even know what it is.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah. Comment, like, subscribe, whatever they say. But this is our first one. Hopefully you guys liked it, and we look forward, we truly look forward to doing more, right?
Yeah, and also if you have any stories, any stories at all, what type or kind, it can be sad, depressing, fun, comical,
scary, funny. We're gonna try and do it month by month, right? So like, come, certain months, like.
Yeah, send us your story.
Yeah, and it may not show up right away in our podcast, but like, come fucking.
Jesus Christ.
COME.
But send your stories too.
Right. Yeah.
What's the email?
Podcastbyfire@gmail.com.
Podcastbyfire@gmail.com.
Not case sensitive. No spaces. No symbols. No nothing.
Yeah. Send your stories.
Send it to us.
Or any comments if you like us or not.
Yeah. If you don't like us.
If you don't like us, send us that too.
Yeah. We want your feedback.
We want your feedback.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else you want to say, buddy?
No.
You wanna cross swords?
Let's cross swords. Let's play swords. Yeah.
This is Podcast by Fire. Thanks.
This is Podcast by Fire.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Bye, guys.